Hi there, this is Moat, an alien exchange student from the planet Lobros, here to bring you some interesting facts about this weird, wonderful, and sometimes scary as fuck planet of yours in a convenient countdown format. So without further ado, Earthlings, let's get started on today's countdown. Today we'll be talking about public access television. Most people in this day and age don't know what public access TV is, though I just recently learned about it as your Earth television radio waves just hit my planet in recent years. For you millennials, think of it as a sort of Stone Age version of YouTube. Before the internet, TV and cable stations allotted airtime for anybody with a camera to make their own TV shows. The majority of those shows were mundane and boring, but when you let the inmates run the TV asylum, especially in the 80s and 90s, you'd sometimes get some of the most baffling, weirdest shit imaginable that even rivals what you can find on YouTube nowadays. Today, I will count down the top 5 weird and crazy public access TV shows. Number 5, The Hell Ride.
Welcome, viewers and ghouls. You're coming to the line of the ride, the Hell Ride.
Okay, so I'll start off with some low-hanging fruit. This one, if you couldn't tell from the spooky intro, is The Hell Ride. I can't find anything about this show, but wow, just wow. Your host is a skinny, awkward goth kid accompanied by... wait, is that his mom? Anyways, there's just not much I can say. Let me just show you some of the cringe.
You know what happens when you're dead and rotting. Your skin turns putrid and your clothes start spotting. Your belly bloats up, your guts turn to chum, your eyeballs turn purple like overripe plums.
Oh god, oh god.
Flies crawl in,
I think I'm
maggots
gonna...
pour out.
I'm good.
The big ones eat hard. They bore holes in your nose, they eat your fingers, your privates.
Number 4, Unwind with the Sweeties. Okay, well, let's move on to something that's intentionally weird and unsettling. Meet the Sweeties, a married couple outfitted with creepy masks and false buck teeth that never refer to each other by name, only Sweetie. This show is pretty weird and creative in a Tim and Eric / Eric Andre sort of way, especially when the couple venture out in the public, but the majority of this show mainly centers around the couple on their set doing weird things with the weird objects surrounding them, such as this.
Got me licking my chops.
Oh, God, it's time for the...
Got me licking my chops. It got me licking.
This show lasted from about 1991 to 2002, which is a pretty good run for a public access show. They even had their own website, which is now long gone, but you can find their stuff fairly easily on YouTube. So if you're looking for a dose of creepy surrealism, check out Unwind with the Sweeties. Number 3. Ron and Marty. Now, this one delves into some darker territory, like serious, uncomfortable, real shit. Now, I don't know a single Earthling that isn't given the Ghiblis by ventriloquist puppets, and this show based out of Florida in the 90s is no exception, but the creepy puppet is only the beginning here. You see, Ron and his puppet pal Marty would do a public access Christian TV show for children, even going as far as picking up and driving the kids to church to participate in the show. Ron and Marty would interact with various characters ranging from people in costumes to other puppets, always teaching a moral lesson or a story from the Bible. It sounds innocent enough, right? Wrong. It turns out that Ron had a long-time desire to torture and eat children. Yes, you heard me. Eat children. He was in the process of hatching a plan with another co-conspirator to kidnap kids and act on those fantasies. When the cops busted him, he was also caught with copious amounts of kiddie porn. He now sits in jail with 2 concurrent 10-year sentences for the porn and the conspiracy. If he wasn't caught, we would have had another Jeffrey Dahmer on our hands. Now, I don't judge people on what kind of fantasies they may harbor as long as they remain fantasy, but you bring this shit into the real world and harm or even plan to harm others, you are a fucking monster and there is a special place in hell for you. The worst part though, is this guy had unfettered access to kids when he did his puppet show. I just pray to the source that none of these children were ever harmed. Anyways, just talking about this makes me feel ugh. Let's move on to number 2 and cleanse our palate with something a little more silly. Number 2, Mrs. Mouth.
We are calling after you.
Now on the lighter note, I bring you Mrs. Mouth. Jeff Woody, Tony Award-winning playwright of the musical puppet show Avenue Q, describes the show thusly: a man's face was shot upside down with facial features drawn on his chin and a wig around his neck. And that's a pretty much apt description. From what I could find of this show, it was highly popular in New York City where it aired locally. The show features its namesake character Mrs. Mouth, aka Ava Moskowitz. For the most part, it seems rather improvised. She mainly goes on rambling stories, sometimes makes random phone calls, or has her stagehands feed her various things. It's just a total trip. I'll let you have a sampling just to let you soak in the oddness and the absurdity.
I was in my garden springtime, and I got mosquito bites all over my body. I got them on my forehead. I got them on my earlobe, which wasn't bad because I colored it in and looked like a pretty earring. I got them on my chest. I got them on my toes, which itches like crazy when you wear pointed shoes.
So yeah, that was Mrs. Mouth, and the craziness here is nothing compared to... Number 1, The Great Satan at Large.
Hail fucking Satan!
This show only lasted one episode, but good grief does it deserve the number 1 spot. This was one amazing troll job against a Christian TV station in Tucson, Arizona. Don't ask me how this happened, but at the primetime 6 p.m. time slot one night in 1990, viewers were greeted with an American flag spray painted with a swastika, followed by what appeared to be a talk show from hell. This show consisted of a gentleman by the name of Lou Perfidio playing as our host, Satan himself, sitting at a desk. To the seats at his left were the characters of God and a jester who seemed to have his hands down his pants, stimulating himself through most of the show. The actual meat of the show is pretty much utter nonsense and profanity. You had Satan hurling constant profanities and having strange interactions with his co-hosts, as well as taking calls from people pledging their undying loyalty to our devilish host.
Caller?
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan?
Yay. Hey, I was wondering,
You want to sell your soul?
Let me get a comparison shopper thing here. How much did you give George Borazon for his soul?
There is a bit of an interesting epilogue to this whole affair. Lou Perfidio, the mastermind behind all this, faced a potential 40-year prison sentence after airing the show due to his profane content and various breaches of FCC law, and he had to flee the state of Arizona to escape these charges. In 2006, he died at the age of 43 of a really bad case of MRSA, which is a flesh-eating disease. So Lou, wherever you are, watching from heaven, burning from hell, wherever, I salute you as one of the greatest TV trolls ever. So that's it for today's countdown. If you like what you see, please feel free to give a thumbs up, subscribe, share, and if you feel so inclined, to leave feedback in the comments section. Anyways, this is Moat from the planet Lobros. Peace out, Earthlings.